Do you ever wish you'd had a crack at it?
No.
No regrets whatsoever?
None at all.
The heydays of the Kennett era are long gone, and the party knows full well it's coming from way, way behind in this campaign. Just depends what spin they like to put on it, really, and how they deal with the elephant in the room.
Jeff had his run. Let's talk about the present.
The Liberal Party's not running in this election for second place. It's running to win.
It's a very big ask, but he's fighting the campaign every day, and Labor's playing very much catch-up politics.
A day later, the Labor Party was launching its campaign in Steve Brack's hometown.
It is great to be back in Ballarat.
This launch had all the glitzy stage management we'd seen at the Liberal launch the day before. What was different here, though, was that Labor's luminaries were keen to play down Steve Brack's chances and any perceived sense of complacency.
All elections are two-horse races and it's always tough.
My gut instinct tells me this will be a closer election, that nothing's to be taken for granted.
Well, almost all of them took that approach after the Brack speech.
If the whole Victorian electorate could have been here to listen to it, he would get 100% of the vote.
Like most state election campaigns, this one is very much about local bread and butter issues, such as health, education and public transport.
OK, here we are on the Connerbourne and Doncaster Road, and today Liberal Party's making a commitment to extend the tram line.
Performing an extra 16,000 operations through measures such as 2 new dedicated elective surgery centres at St Vincent's and the Austin Repat site at Heidelberg as well.
Both also try to outdo each other on measures to deal with the drought and water shortages. Along the way, an observation from Steve Bracks that wasn't meant for our ears.
The election is about third order issue. Water, drought, and then election. Oh yeah, we've got an election as well. Which in a way is, saying that, they're not out there with baseball bats ready to get us, I guess.
A different policy announcement from each side trickles out for each day of the campaign. Neither leader gives the appearance of enjoying bare-knuckled personal attacks on each other. That's left to the advertisers. But it's this Labor ad that's been the talk of the town.
The last Liberals sold 300 schools to developers. And the Liberal president who backed each sale was Ted Baillieu. But then, why wouldn't he? His real estate agency got a contract to sell many of the schools.
On top of controversy over Ted Baillieu's multi-million-dollar blue-chip share portfolio and his refusal to put it into a blind trust, this is part of a careful Labor strategy to try to remind voters of the Kennett years.
I think that that's been quite an effective ad for Labor. It puts pressure on Mr Baillieu. It dovetails with this attack on Mr Baillieu as a holder of shares and great financial interests, and it also raises again the spectre of Mr Kennett. In case you'd forgotten him, you're reminded that he was the Premier for a long time, and he was the Premier who also kicked the guts out of the state sector.
All good fodder for a televised election debate when Ted Baillieu staunchly defended the Kennett era and the handling of his share portfolio.
I've made all my interests known, and they're on the register for all Victorians to see. I have been totally transparent and open, and I can't do more than that.
Lacking an abundance of divisive policy issues to run on, Labor appears to have decided the Baillieu wealth and the Kennett era are fair game.
And rather than attack the so-called Kennett years, Steve Bracks and John Brumby ought to be out there, as they say to me privately, thank you very much for what you did and what you left us.
They do say that privately to you, do they?
Absolutely. Well, how could they not?
Mr Bracks, have you ever privately thanked Jeff Kennett for his contribution to Victoria?
Sorry?
Have you ever privately thanked Jeff Kennett for his contribution to Victoria?
In any private conversations with the former Premier, no, I don't think I've explicitly said that, no.
Because he says that you have.
Privately thanked him?
Yes.
Right. Privately thanked him for his contribution to Victoria. Look, I may have made reference as someone who's held the highest office to...
Who knows what goes on in private conversations between past and present politicians? What is clear is that Jeff Kennett is still a well-known and controversial figure on Victoria's political landscape.
I think it would be in the Liberal Party's best interest if he did lie low. It surprises me that he's been allowed to come out into the campaign.
Have you ever been advised to lie low in this campaign?
No, certainly not.
Would you ever consider doing that if you felt it was going to help Ted Baillieu?
No, no one's ever come to me and said that at all. And would I change? No, I don't think I could turn into a marshmallow tomorrow.
The political wisdom goes that Ted Baillieu must pick up at least 7 seats for his own credibility.
The great unknown is what happens here in the upper house. For the first time in 150 years, Victoria has switched to a new voting system for this chamber based along Senate lines. And that could give the Greens the balance of power.
In the meantime, this campaign rumbles along till election day. What could rate as a spot of excitement is that Ted Baillieu's mother-in-law has a Vote Labor banner in her front yard. Hardly the sort of scandal rocking some other Labor governments at the moment. But after all, this is Victoria, and it somehow sees itself as different to all the rest.
I would like to think in a bipartisan way we've always had a better standard of public service.
With stiff upper lips, they're even braving Victoria's bitterly cold snap in the name of votes.
That was before the snow. Heather Hewitt with that report. The relaxation of cross-media